Why do you still chase the love she never knew how to give? Why do you still twist yourself into knots, diminish yourself, erase yourself, hoping that this time she'll truly see you? The narcissistic mother is an emotional black hole that devours her children's light to feed her own emptiness. And you, raised in that darkness, learn to call this hunger love. But there's a secret Carl Jung discovered about the human psyche. There's a hidden pattern that governs entire families, passing from generation to generation like a silent curse. Jung called this the negative mother complex, an archetypal force that shapes a child's soul until they can no longer distinguish between their own voice and the voice of the mother who devours them. Most live their entire lives as prisoners of this complex, repeating the same patterns of self-sabotage, attracting toxic relationships, wearing masks to please those who hurt them. They don't know they are dancing the dance of family narcissism, orbiting a black sun that will never warm them. But you were called to awaken. You were called to break the mirror. And today, you will discover the 10 conscious ways to deal with a narcissistic mother. Not to change her, because that's impossible, but to rescue yourself from the depths of the complex she planted within you. But before we continue, you need to understand what Jung discovered about the destructive power of the devouring mother, and how this knowledge can free your soul from emotional captivity. Stop. Look within. How many times have you swallowed your own voice not to disturb her mood? How many times have you transformed into the perfect child, or the problematic child, just to earn a crumb of attention? How many times have you betrayed your own essence to fit into the version of you she could love? You know this pain, don't you? The pain of never being enough. The pain of being seen only as an extension of her, never as a whole human being. The pain of discovering that the love you received always came with conditions, always came with the price of your authenticity. As you sacrifice yourself on the altar of her ego, your true personality suffocates. As you wear the mask of the obedient or rebellious child, your true self remains buried in the shadows. As you dance the dance of approval, you lose sight of who you truly are when no one is watching. Your soul screams for liberation, but you are afraid. Afraid that if you stop being who she wants you to be, you will cease to exist completely. Afraid that if you confront the reality of who she is, you will lose the last shred of hope of being loved by her. But here's the truth that will change everything. You are already whole. You always have been whole. The hole you feel inside you isn't yours. It's hers. The emotional hunger you carry wasn't born from you. It was planted by her. And the desperate need for approval that dominates your relationships is just the echo of the complex she created. Do you recognize this programming? It's because you were shaped by an archetypal force that Jung identified as one of the most destructive for the development of human personality. And today, you will understand exactly how this force operates, and more importantly, how to free yourself from it forever. The narcissistic mother isn't just a difficult mother. She is a specific psychological force that Carl Jung identified as the archetype of the great mother in her dark aspect, the devouring mother who consumes her children to feed her own existential emptiness. Jung discovered that maternal narcissism creates what he called the negative mother complex in the children's psyche. This complex functions like an emotional virus that infects all aspects of the developing personality, creating patterns of self-sabotage that repeat for decades. Imagine the narcissistic mother as a black sun, a star that should nurture and warm but which instead drains all the light around her. The children become planets trapped in her gravitational orbit, condemned to eternally revolve around her emptiness, reflecting only the light she allows them to have. This black sun doesn't shine with its own light. It feeds on the vital energy of her children, their creativity, their spontaneity, their joy. And in return, it offers only crumbs of conditional attention, love with an expiration date, approval that can be withdrawn at any moment. The negative mother complex programs the child to believe that their worth depends exclusively on their ability to keep the mother happy, satisfied at the center of the universe. The child learns that their own needs are secondary, that their feelings are inconvenient, that their individuality is a threat to family stability. This is how the pattern is born. This is how an entire generation of children grows up not knowing who they truly are when no one needs them, not knowing what they truly want when they're not trying to please someone, not knowing how to love when they're not sacrificing themselves. The first conscious way to deal with a narcissistic mother is to recognize that you cannot change her. Jung knew that the attempt to transform the other is a projection of our own need for transformation. Stop wasting your vital energy trying to make her see you. Your healing doesn't depend on her evolution. The second way is to establish energetic boundaries, not just physical ones. The narcissist feeds on emotional energy. Learn not to feed the drama, not to enter the blame game, not to over-explain yourself. Your energy is sacred. Protect it as you would your own blood. The third way is to stop seeking validation where it never existed. Jung said that seeking love where there's no capacity to love is like searching for water in the desert. You'll only find mirages that will leave you dying of thirst. Seek validation within yourself, in your true self, in people who can see you entirely. The fourth way is to develop what Jung called the transcendent function, the ability to observe patterns without being swallowed by them. When she initiates a narcissistic attack, observe as a witness. Don't defend, don't counterattack, don't justify. Just observe and energetically withdraw from the dynamic. The fifth way is to rescue your inner child from emotional captivity. The child within you still waits for the mother's love that never came. Dialogue with this child. Tell them that you are now the protective adult they always needed. Tell them that her love for you doesn't define your worth in the world. Each of these ways is a step out of the black sun's orbit. Each is a movement toward your own light. But there's more. The next 5 ways will complete your liberation from the negative mother complex forever. The 6th conscious way is to practice radical emotional detachment. Jung taught that attachment to expectations is the root of all psychological suffering. Detach from the hope that she will change, that she will apologize, that she will recognize what she did. Accept that she is exactly who she is, and that has nothing to do with you. The 7th way is to develop your own inner authority. The narcissistic mother teaches her children to seek authority outside themselves. Stop asking her what you should do with your life. Stop seeking her approval for your decisions. Trust the wisdom of your own self. You already know the answers. They are within you. The 8th way is to break the family silence. Narcissism thrives on secrecy, denial, and pretending everything is fine. Talk about your experience with people who can truly hear you. Name the abuse. Call things by their true names. Truth is the antidote to narcissistic distortion. The 9th way is to rebuild your identity from scratch. Question: who are you when you're not trying to please anyone? What are your real values, not the ones imposed on you? What are your authentic dreams, not the ones she approved? This is the hardest and most liberating journey you can take. The 10th and final conscious way to deal with a narcissistic mother is to accept that you can love her from a distance. Jung knew that true love sometimes requires separation. You can have compassion for her without sacrificing yourself. You can recognize the pain that created her without absorbing that pain. You can honor the biological relationship without accepting emotional abuse. This last way is the most powerful because it breaks the myth that love means suffering, that family means total sacrifice, that being a good child means accepting any behavior. Conscious love has boundaries. Healthy love protects itself. Mature love doesn't feed on drama. You now possess the 10 keys to escape the prison of the negative mother complex. But knowledge without application is just intellectual entertainment. It's time to transform this understanding into real freedom. Now that you know the 10 conscious ways, how do you start applying them in your real life? Jung said that the integration of the family shadow requires constant inner work and brutal honesty with yourself. Grab a journal and start a dialogue with your wounded inner child. Ask them, what did you most need to hear from our mother and never did? Write the answer with your non-dominant hand, letting the child speak freely. Then, with your dominant hand, respond as the loving adult you have become. Practice the exercise of conscious observation. In your next interactions with your mother, observe your automatic patterns. When do you catch yourself over-explaining, justifying your choices, or twisting yourself to avoid conflict? Just observe, without judgment. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Establish a ritual of energetic protection before and after encounters with her. Visualize a bubble of golden light around you. Within this bubble, you are safe, centered, connected with your true self. Nothing she says or does can penetrate this protection without your conscious permission. Create affirmations based on the truth of yourself. I am whole regardless of her approval. My worth is not conditioned by her mood. I deserve unconditional love, and I can give that to myself. Repeat these truths until they become stronger than the lies of the complex. The healing journey from the negative mother complex is not linear. There will be days when you feel strong and free, and others when the wounded child within you will cry again. Be patient with yourself. Individuation is a process, not a destination. You have changed. At this very moment, as you absorb these words, something fundamental has transformed within your psyche. You can no longer unsee the patterns Jung helped you recognize. You can no longer unconsciously accept the dynamic of the family black sun. You are no longer the child orphaned of real love. You are no longer the planet condemned to orbit her emptiness. You are no longer the repository of the family shadow, the scapegoat for her unresolved traumas. You are now the conscious observer of your own story. You are the hero of your individuation journey. You are the living expression of your true self, free from the chains of the negative mother complex. The narcissistic mother can continue to be who she is. That is no longer your problem to solve. She can continue trying to drain your energy, but now you know how to protect your light. She can continue projecting her shadow onto you, but now you have mirrors that reflect only your own truth. Comment which of the 10 ways resonated most with your soul, like if you felt the courage to break the mirror of the family complex. Subscribe to continue this journey of liberation from the ancestral shadow. Share this knowledge with other children who are still lost in the black sun's orbit. Jung knew that individual healing contributes to collective healing. When you free yourself from the negative mother complex, you break the pattern for future generations. You are no longer the same. The truth Jung discovered about the human psyche now lives in you. Use it. Apply it. Live it. The journey is just beginning. Integrate.